Hi there, and thanks for joining me for today's YouTube jazz guitar lesson. In today's lesson I'd like to show you how to use some really cool exercises over the popular jazz standard, So What. You heard me demonstrate just one of them there in the intro video, but I've got a few others to show you that I think will be useful when you tackle this tune. Like with many lessons on this channel, I have the tabla notation available, so if you'd like to get that, just look beneath this video and you'll see a link to an article on my website which has all the things we're going to be discussing in tablature and full notation. So if you want to follow along with me, just load that up and then resume the lesson afterwards. So without further ado, let's get zoomed in and check out how to play some of these improvisation exercises for So What. I hope you enjoy them. So What is a 32 bar chord progression that modulates between two keys. We have 16 bars of the one chord, which in this key is D minor. The bridge is 8 bars of E flat minor, which is a semitone above D minor, and then the remaining 8 bars go back to D minor again for 8 bars. So there's basically only 2 tonal centers in this song, and they are D minor and E flat minor. So there's various ways in which you can improvise over both of these chords. You know, the D minor, you can use all kinds of scales, triads and harmonic devices, but for the purpose of today's lesson we're going to keep it simple and just think of a Dorian scale, a D Dorian scale. And for the E flat we're going to use the same scale, the Dorian scale. So the one that I'm going to be using starts on the 5th fret of the A string, and it's a 2 octave scale. So we're going to start here and play 1 octave, and then play the 2nd octave from here. Okay, so that's the first Dorian scale. And that's a D Dorian scale. The next scale we're going to be looking at is an E flat Dorian scale. Exactly the same thing, but starts on E flat. Okay, they're the only 2 scales that you need to start off with this exercise. And basically what the exercise is going up one scale, like the D Dorian scale, and then coming down the E flat Dorian scale from the closest possible note, which in this position happens to be the D flat. You could go down, but if we go up, the D flat is close to that C, and then we can go down. So the complete thing goes up a Dorian scale, a D Dorian scale, then down an E flat Dorian scale. And that just helps you connect the scales really smoothly. And it means that you don't have to think of D Dorian, E flat, D Dorian, E flat. You might want to do a line that starts on D Dorian that goes to E flat Dorian, and voice leads between the 2 scales and makes that smooth a whole lot smoother, rather than just attacking the E flat rapidly you know, after playing on D Dorian for a while. This first exercise you can do all kinds of things with it. You can do it in different positions of the guitar neck. You know, I just use that scale there, but you could start on any of the other D Dorian scales and then try and come back down in E flat Dorian. You could do a descending Dorian scale and then go up an E flat Dorian scale if you wanted. It's just to help you see the picture, and basically if you see both the scales as being connected together, you'll be able to connect between both of the tonal centers a lot more smoother, rather than just thinking D Dorian, E flat, D Dorian, E flat, if that makes sense. So that's exercise number 1, connecting the 2 scales. The second exercise is a call and response exercise. The chords that Bill Evans plays on the original recording, off the top of my head I'm not sure if they're triads or if they've got another note as well, but at the very least they are a G triad to an F triad. Some people extend the chords and play kind of a half quartal chord that finishes off with a triad. You know, starts in fourths, then has a third on the top. So you can use any variation of this chord you want, whichever's your favourite. You could keep it completely chordal, as I do in the demonstration video, or you can add the triad at the top if you want to. The choice is yours, but the essence of this exercise is to alternate between single line runs and chords. So you could do a single line phrase and answer it with chords like that. The idea really is to practice these things in time with a metronome, and hopefully by being forced to play chords, it means that your single lines have to be very, very clear lines. It can't just be waffling around scales. It's got to be a very precise rhythmic and melodic idea for it to work. If you just go up a scale or whatever, there's not time to waffle, and that's one problem that can happen when you've got D minor for 8 bars. You can just kind of waffle up and down scales and not really have strong phrases. But by playing call and response, it kind of forces you to have some really strong melodic ideas. So that's the second exercise. I guess if you wanted to vary that, you could do it in different areas of the neck. You don't always have to use these two chords if you want. You could find the same chords there if you wanted to cover a different area of the neck. So that's the second exercise. The last one is basically just to analyse Miles Davis' solo. He does a fantastic solo on this song that's really worth listening to if you haven't heard it already. Each of the solos on that classic track represent different traditions really. Miles was really innovative and fresh at the time. He played very simply, left loads of space, unlike Coltrane and Cannonball Adderley, which were really coming from, those guys are coming from different traditions really and wanting to do different things. But Miles Davis' solo has always kind of stood as its own thing. It's really worth listening to, and even on my article here I've just kind of written out a few questions, like when you're listening to it, think how often does it start on beat 1 of the bar, and it's very rarely that it does. In the first chorus I think there's only 1 or 2 times where it starts on beat 1. Most of his ideas don't start on beat 1, and it kind of avoids you sounding predictable and boring, always start on beat 1 of the bar. What scale does he use? You could listen to it or work out the solo by ear, or you could look at a transcription and work out the kind of scales that he uses. You could ask yourself how much space he leaves when you're listening to it, and you could analyse what kind of rhythms he uses as well. Each one of these things can be practice exercises in their own right. Like for example, hardly starting on beat 1, you could practice So What and practice improvising along to it, but consciously avoid starting on beat 1 and see what kind of difference that makes to your solo. So that's the third one, just listening to Miles' solo. So to recap, we had exercise number 1, which was connecting the 2 scales. Exercise number 2 was a call and response thing, and the third one was Miles Davis' solo. There's tons of different things you can do on this tune, but I just wanted to give you 3 really to get you started on this classic song. I hope you have fun with all of them. Thank you for watching this jazz guitar video lesson. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you found it useful, I'd really appreciate it if you could click the like button below to help support the channel. I'd also be grateful if you subscribe to this channel as well. That way you'll get free access to all the future free jazz and blues guitar lessons that I post. If you're looking for more free jazz guitar resources, then I have 2 ebooks that are free. One has 10 must-know jazz guitar licks included in them, and the other is called Effective Guitar Scale Practice, and that has loads of really cool, useful ways in which you can practice scales. Both of these are free, and you can download them by signing up to my emailing list, which is linked to on my website, jamieholroydguitar.com. Thanks again for checking out this lesson, and I'll see you in the next video.